Up that volume, Mike.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
never
yeah.
too much. It's never too much.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Dead Money by the one and only Domagist. The numbers bled from the page. Yorna's fingers bled from the parchment. Paper cuts would heal, but the debt would not. The assembly's notices stank of liquor now. Her head pounded, a wondrous timing after her glass toppled over on the desk. Thank mercy that no alcohol soaked into the letter she composed.
Her brother sighed from across the library, slumped in a chair near the cold fireplace. Yorna, please rest, said Edward. You shall fall ill. You continue to stave off the assembly's warnings, and for what? It is I, not you.
Her grip on her pen tightened. Rest or languish about the Corhurst Manor for 2 years as he did, one did not repay debt, relishing in melancholy. All he achieved was an impressive paler and sunken eyes. Of course, the government hounded him.
The aristocracy will thank our family layabouts, said Yorna, eyes trained on her letter. Penned pleas for understanding adorned it. Another round of excuses to calm the demands of repayment. Me? A layabout? Our father drained our fortune for wine and women. After his death, what did we inherit? His debts. My work is your responsibility.
I did not ask to be baron.
As the elder twin, you have a duty. She glared behind her spectacles. Ooh, our fellow nobility, our government. They cannot see another member of the Brandthwaite family allow this degradation. We have been barred from the assembly, and if we are to continue our lineage, we must prove we are unlike our dissolute father.
Edward bowed his head. Black hair shrouded his face like a widow's veil. Ugh. He was 20 years old and far too old for sulking.
Yorna huffed and returned to composing the letter to the assembly, words oft repeated, churned from her pen. She was a machine made to dispense excuses. I humbly ask the aristocratic assembly to again pardon my brother, Lord Marisfair, for neglecting our late father's debts. We experienced great difficulty collecting funds following the abandonment of our barony, as well as incurring additional debts for the want of food, amongst other expenses. I assure that we regard our situation with utmost seriousness.
Perhaps if we fell, began Edward, weak and breathy, we would be freed.
Fall. Heath flushed through Yorna's face. She pounded her fist against the desk. Papers fluttered to the carpet, and she jumped to her feet.
The commotion earned little more than Edward's sigh. Our family's name chains us, dear sister. No matter our individual merits or aspirations, all the nobility sees are the children of a disgraceful man.
Trembling racked her frame and voice. It will remain so if you continue to do nothing, Edward. That ruins me. As we are twins, my character is linked with yours.
I think any observer can attest to our differences.
I do not think so one bit.
How are we similar? We never have been since childhood. Who sobbed when someone raised their voice, and who quarreled with the nursemaid? His long sigh rustled his hair. It is hopeless. If we fell, you could succeed on your own accord.
And deny herself the rights her father's disgrace stole from her? Was she meant to sit as he did and accept their destruction? Oh, Edward, what horrid sense of sordid.
The door clicked and creaked open. Breath and fire caught in her chest. Grayson, his faded livery, stepped inside. Father's valet left to Edward, and the sole servant that proved loyal after the town's exodus, something of a male maid of all work. He nodded to his baron and to Yorna.
Grayson, she moaned through her teeth. Thank goodness you arrived. I direly need my glass refilled.
Of course, Miss Yorna, said Grayson, dutiful as ever. He walked over to Edward and presented an envelope to him. Sir, another letter arrived from the aristocratic assembly.
At once, the twins locked eyes, one pair bright, one pair dull. Both flickered towards the letter before they met one another again. Edward moved first. He reached for the letter with a slight shake of the head. No, said his wide-eyed stare.
Damn his stare. Yorna dashed across the library and snatched the letter before Edward's fingertips could brush against it. She spun round and marched to her desk for the letter opener, right drawer as always.
Edward's protest drowned out the rip. Sister.
Hush. You would have sent it away. Yorna slid the letter free. Another blasted debt notice? No, the writing told something else.
What? Her muscles tensed.
The letter spat 2 years' worth of frustration. The aristocratic assembly would have no more of your sister's meddling. Debt collectors would arrive at the manor in a week's time. A week! No question, no compromise. They would, the writing asserted, return with some form of payment. If not, Lord Edward Braithwaite shall be arrested, the lands of Marsphere brought into government custody, and the Braithwaite's baronal status stripped.
But all those years of her excuses. They once worked, so why did the last round not? Fire and ice churned in her stomach. Look at this, she cried, and hurried over to shove the demands in Edward's face. Our honor is in jeopardy, all due to your refusal to act.
He shifted in his seat.
Oh, you face debtor's prison, and my life's ambitions shall be dashed. What hope do I have when I am associated with a drunkard father and an imprisoned brother? Tell me, Edward, what is your solution to this mess?
Edward did little but stare forward, not at her nor the letter, but vaguely into the distance.
Tea, my lord? Asked Grayson.
Edward nodded in silence, sparing no glance at his valet either, and remained in his state. After the library door closed, slowly his eyes reanimated, independent from the rest of him, and stared at Yorna, prodding, pleading, darkened behind the shade of his bangs so they looked empty and lifeless. Edward's eyes placed the burden onto her, as it had always been for 2 years.
Ugh, this staring. What judgment passed behind his eyes? Did he plead for her to allow their fall? No, no, that was unthinkable. A week's time was all she had, no chance for appeasement, for years of frustration would not be dismissed. And shaking, she clutched the sides of her gown. Blast it, there had to be some solution.
Then she paused. It was simple, daunting, horrifying, yes, but simple.
The assembly has forced my hand, she said. I shall not relent to their threats, nor to your insistent, ill conceived notion that we abandon our duty to our family. It was our focus on our petty wishes that landed us in this situation.
Edward's mouth barely moved, and a faint whisper spilled out. Yorna, do not.
Oh, but she would. Yorna stilled her hands and lifted her chin. Our family's name stands above all else. We shall pay.
Your late father's bedroom went undisturbed for 2 years. Yorna ransacked it in 2 minutes. Drawers yanked open, blankets strewn on the floor, books tossed from shelves, stacked orderly later. Harsh eyes scoured every inch of father's quarters. A man who burned through coin faster than the sparse candles that illuminated the manor must have some reserve of money stowed safe from eager eyes and desperate daughters.
Yorna's hands, back, and mind ached. Where was it?
Edward leaned against the peeling wallpaper and tore strips free that exposed the paneling. No help from him, but why would he start? It was only his freedom and her reputation at stake, after all.
If you will not assist me, she said, then leave.
I want to help. I wish to assist you, not the silly brainwafts, not the dead mummery of our father.
Her shoulders tensed.
The morning the debt collectors